In this video, we are going to be diving into Pinterest boards. I'm going to show you how to create a Pinterest board and talk about some strategy reasons about how you can use your boards. But first of all, hi, I'm Catherine. I'm a Pinterest marketing strategist for brand photographers, specializing in Pinterest specifically. We're going to do a deep dive, and before I show you how to create a board, I want to talk through different types of boards for brand photographers. Now, these three types of boards are specific for strategy purposes for brand photographers, or even just photographers in general. The first type of board, if you are a photographer using Pinterest, you are probably already doing this, and it is going to be a planning board. It is a board that you are planning on with your clients, and they are pinning inspiration and ideas and makeup and wardrobe and location aesthetic that they want for their photo shoot. The second is going to be a resource board. One of my favorite strategies with Pinterest marketing is when you get people to pin for you, because then you're not having to do the heavy lifting of creating all the pins. So this resource board not only serves your audience really well, it also allows people to market for you. So what a resource board is, it's where you pin those links that people are constantly asking you for. If you find yourself constantly sending someone a blog post explaining a certain topic or answering a popular question, or even a YouTube video that you've created, you can pin these on a resource board. It can have a smaller number of pins on this board, and it's a place where your clients or your audience can go to get answers to their commonly asked questions, and once they find the content, they're likely to save it to their own boards. And then the final board type is just a general marketing board. We're creating these boards specifically for marketing purposes, and a lot of times the title of the board is specific for the Pinterest algorithm so that your pins are able to rank in the search engine that is Pinterest. So let's dive in and head over to Pinterest and create a board together. So I'm looking at my profile. When you first go to Pinterest, you can head over here by clicking on your face up here, and it will take you to your profile. Now, a few years back, Pinterest reorganized this, and honestly, I think it made it a little more confusing. In the past, you used to automatically see your boards here, but now we're seeing our created pins, and they're not categorized. But to hop over to the organized board view of your profile, you're just going to come over here and click on Saved. This is going to include all the content you've created as well as any pins that you have saved to any of your boards. And to create a board, we are going to hit this plus sign here and create a board. Now, I'm going to go old school with this board and name it Photography. And I'm doing this intentionally. This is a very broad category that Pinterest has for the whole photography niche. So I primarily work with brand photographers, occasionally a family photographer here and there. And so I have boards for those types of clients on my Pinterest account. But this photography term is going to be a catch-all for all types of photography industries, but it's going to let Pinterest be really clear that you are a photographer. The content you are saving to this board is related to photography. I'm going to go ahead and make this board public, but if you're creating a lot of boards at once, I would mark them secret and then make them unsecret when you are ready for them to be published. You don't want to do too much activity all at once on Pinterest because that can trigger the spam filter, and we do not want that. I'm going to go ahead and click Create here. So the first thing Pinterest does, it asks if you want to save some pins to your boards, and normally I would save some pins here. if I am just creating a board for the first time. The purpose of saving some other people's pins here at the beginning is that you are going to be able to create relationships between your pins that you pin here and the pins from other people that are already ranking really well. It's okay if you don't save anything at all in there. The next thing we're going to walk through is what I most commonly see as the biggest mistake when it comes to Pinterest boards, and it is leaving the description blank. You get 500 characters for your board description, and this really helps your pins rank better on this board if you write a description that includes keywords. So I'm going to grab this description I already created. I'm just using 350 characters, but if I was actually a photographer, I would include a little bit more personal information with the 150 characters I have left, maybe have a call to action, tell them to visit my website. But the main thing we want to do here is tell the Pinterest algorithm what this board is about. So I'm going to click these three dots and go to Edit Board and add the description in here. And then for your board cover, you can click on a pin that you have saved to your board. I'm just going to pick this one for now. Once I add some client content here, I will probably change this to be one of my client's pins. So when you see people have fancy board covers, they've created pins with that image and then they're picking the cover there. Personally, I find it best just to pick a plain old pin that you want to be your board cover and not stress about it too much. And then if you did create this as a secret board at the very beginning, you can come back here and uncheck it when you're ready for it to be published. The last thing I want to show you is how to add a collaborator. So at the very beginning, we talked about how you can use Pinterest boards for planning your photo shoots. And a lot of times you'll see the photographer and the client on what is called a group board so that they can both add pins to this board and look at the pins the other person is pinning. So to do this, you're going to come up here where your profile picture is and click the person. And then you can either copy this link here and submit to them in an email, or you can search their name or their email here and add them directly on Pinterest. You're ready to start creating pins and saving them to this board now. There's one more thing you can do on your Pinterest boards. It does not support you in any way from a marketing standpoint, but if you are using this board to collaborate with someone else, it may be beneficial to know how to organize. So if we click organize here, you can create subfolders within your folders. So if I want to create a section, I'm going to select the pins. And let's say I want to put these two in photography education. So let's create a section. And now those two pins are going to appear here in this category. So if you are planning with a client and you want a wardrobe section, a makeup section, a poses section, then this is something that could be really helpful if you're collaborating. If you are creating a resource board, you could have different pillars here so that it's easier for your clients to go in and find what they're looking for if you have a lot of resources that you're sharing. And it'll look like this. So you'll still see all the other pins you've saved down here below it, and then it'll have what I call subfolders up here at the top that people can go in and click in. Now from a search engine optimization perspective, having these subfolders doesn't do anything to help your pins rank higher. And if it is a marketing board, typically I would create this as its own board rather than having a bunch of subfolders. So this is really just helpful if you are collaborating with someone else or creating a resource board. I have a whole guide on creating high-ranking Pinterest boards specifically for brand photographers. It allows you to create boards that are relevant for the content you're creating, but also it gives you some board titles that are going to help you rank higher in the Pinterest algorithm. There's been a lot of research and work that went into coming up with these names, so while they may look simple like photography, they are strategically written and selected based on how Pinterest reads your content.